Hello, my strong friends. In today's video, we're gonna talk a little bit about nutrition. First, I want to start and talk about where I first went wrong with my own personal nutrition. And this is something, if you look way back, like 10 years ago when I started making videos, I was starting to come out of some of these, but still struggling. The first thing, little nutrition knowledge. Very little, and I believed misinformation. Second, I would follow and believe just any random person who was talking about nutrition. I didn't do my due diligence and find like reputable influence. Second, I don't want to say constantly, but frequently, I would restrict, and then binge and go nuts. And I was all the time fatigued and overwhelmed by choices of food, and mostly I was overwhelmed by the constant inner dialogue of telling me not to eat something, like what I should not eat. This is what we find like a lot of our clients are struggling with. First, you want to start with intake awareness. You want to raise your awareness of how much you're eating and raise your awareness of your hunger cues. There's a couple different ways that you can do that. We'll actually talk about ways you can do that in this video, so just wait. Second, you gotta find reputable people to follow. You can't just be following Liver King out here. I mean, if that's what you wanna do, that's fine, but no tea, no shade. But you want to find people who are dietitians, certification programs that help equip people with science-backed information. One place that I really love to go to is Precision Nutrition. That's where I got my nutrition certification. Precision Nutrition is a certifying body that equips personal trainers mostly with general nutrition guidance. It also helps teach people like me who aren't dietitians, don't have a medical degree in nutrition, teaches us our scope and when we can help people. Usually we can help people with general nutrition advice like what you're watching in this video, and when we can't help people. Dietitians are great people to follow for reputable influence. I'll list some people down in the comments that I like to follow and some sources that you can start to learn more. With that, when you're looking for the reputable influence, you want to avoid people who are dogmatic. There's some dogma around a lot of the things that people say when they are really so gung-ho in a certain camp of nutrition. And so you want to watch out for that, because certain camps of nutrition and certain diets, they're not going to work for everyone, and they're not the end all be all to choices that you can make. The next thing that really helped me is preparing a little bit more and planning and having backup plans in my food choices so that I didn't have to experience decision fatigue. So I limited the amount of decisions that I needed to make on a day-to-day basis, and that really helped me kind of simplify what I needed to do. I just meal prepped a little bit more often, and it didn't rule my life. I just planned when I would go out to eat and when I would eat in. If you followed me for a long time, then you know that a big pillar in who I am and what I share here on YouTube is the shift from focusing on physique goals versus focusing on performance goals. We are talking about nutrition specifically in this video, so I want to kind of just like show the map from physique goals and its relationship with exercise and nutrition, and then when you shift to performance goals, how those two things interact with one another. Typically, physique goals are around losing body fat, seeing your muscles, seeing six packs, looking more lean, looking shredded, all that stuff. Nutrition is usually more important than the training element thing or the exercise element of it. Whereas on the performance side, you have your training or exercise is the most important thing around your performance-based goals. Let's say you have a performance-based goal of being a power lifter or competing in your first meet. The most important thing to you is the aspect of competition and performing and training in the gym. The nutrition aspect for that performance goal only supports the training. The nutrition is there to make training sessions better, to make sure that you're fueled for the training session, and to help you not feel like crap during the training session. That is an important distinction that I think makes it so that typically when you make that shift over to performance-based goals, you tend to have a little bit more fun with training. Nutrition choices may seem a little bit more effortless, or at least like they have more purpose, and that's a shift that I think a lot of people can benefit from. Now, you don't have to become a power lifter, but implementing some sort of performance goal, whether it be lifting X amount of weight in the squat, or getting your first pull-up, or running a 5K, or running a fast 2 mile, all of those are things that might help you in both your nutrition journey and your training journey. Okay, next let's talk about a couple of practical applications that you can actually use today or this week or whatever. A lot of people struggle with a couple things in nutrition. One, getting enough protein. Two, getting enough vegetables. And honestly, building habits that like stick around for the long haul. So let's talk about protein. We'll put the recommendation for how much protein you should be getting. There's a range, you can check it out here. But if you're having a hard time reaching your protein goal, whatever that may be, I have 5 strategies that I'm gonna share with you rapid fire so that you can try them out and see if they help. First of all, starting the day with protein, whether that be a high protein meal or maybe a protein shake mixed with some milk or just mixed with your coffee, getting into your routine that you always get a good amount of protein in early in the day will help make your nutrition choices a little bit easier and maybe more enjoyable later on. My next tip is when you're building your meals to always start with the protein source first. So let's say you're trying to build that high protein breakfast. You start with the protein source. Let's say you choose Greek yogurt, and then you figure out the rest. How are you going to make it so that you're not just eating Greek yogurt? How can you make it a more enjoyable meal with the rest? Maybe you add some fruit to that meal, which gives you a little bit of fiber and some carbs. Maybe you add a little bit of peanut butter, depending on the fat content of your Greek yogurt. Always start with the protein source, then figure out the rest. That approach to your meals with protein first can help you simplify the choices and might simplify your meals a little bit better. Next, always have high protein snacks on hand. Always have high protein snacks on hand. Some of my favorites are string cheese, hard-boiled eggs, protein bars, protein shakes, although you don't always have to have protein shakes, beef jerky, yogurt. I've talked about yogurt a few times in this video. I like lots of dairy sources. They are non-dairy sources that you can check out. We do have a guide on like high protein sources. Like we have a chart from our course Habit Hacker that I'll share here. Habit Hacker is my course that launches August 1st. So by the time you guys are watching this, it will be available. Basically, it is a structure to help you raise awareness of your intake and help you make more goal-aligned decisions and choices and build better habits that help you reach those goals. So I'll have more information down below so that you guys can check it out, but it's an awesome course. I think you're gonna love it. Anyway, let's get back to my high protein list. Next, as far as meal prep, I like to prep a few times during the week and really focus my prep around like making dinner. So instead of making dinner for myself and having one portion, I create a few extra portions knowing that I'll have it for lunch the next day and maybe dinner the next day to limit the amount of times that I'm cooking throughout the week. So that's a simple strategy that you can use that, one, doesn't mean you're prepping 20 meals in one go, but you're preparing and having plans for your following days just by making one meal at a time. Next, you can always add some protein powder or add like some of those protein snacks to existing recipes. So things like pancakes, yogurt. If you eat yogurt, you can also add a little bit of protein powder to bulk it up with a little bit more. Smoothies are a great way to sneak in some protein powder. It can be basically undetectable unless you choose like a flavored protein that has a strong flavor and you want that. Basically, you want to take things that you're already eating and enjoying. If you enjoy pancakes, then maybe you can pair some protein with those pancakes and just help you bump up your protein a little bit and reach whatever goal you have. Okay, we've all heard the debate between counting macros and intuitive eating. A lot of people wonder, like, do I need to count macros in order to reach my goals? And I mean, it is one way to reach your goals. It tends to be very time consuming. It tends to be really meticulous. It can be very successful if you implement it, but a lot of people don't have that kind of time or that kind of patience. The desire is not there, at least for me, it's not there. Counting macros is one way to do it, and then intuitive eating, kind of on the other side of the spectrum, is basically just following your hunger cues. Now, a lot of people have a hard time following their hunger cues because society, lifestyles, schedules, there are so many factors outside of our control that make it hard to really listen to those hunger cues. You have those two things on either end of the spectrum. And then in the middle, there are about 1,000 different approaches that you can take in order to raise the awareness of how much food you're eating and also start to cue into your hunger cues. So a lot of those strategies I do cover in my course, Habit Hacker. One of them is the hand portions guide. So basically you use your hand because they're portable, they're always gonna be with you, and you start to assign different parts of your hand to different kinds portions of macronutrients. Your fist, although it's not a macronutrient, can give you a good indicator of how many vegetables you should have. Keep in mind, this is just a starting point, and maybe if you're a little bit larger of a person, you might want to double the portions. But let's say for me, maybe I want to fill my plate with a fist size full of vegetables, and then a palm size portion of protein, and then a cupped hand of a carb source, and then a thumb of fat. Now, again, that's just the starting point. I might find because I'm really active, I need a little bit more food than that, but maybe you can use that strategy and that hand-sized portion guide to look at what you're putting on your plate and compare it to how much more or less you need to feel full. That is just one method, and again, that method and some worksheets are incorporated into our course, Habit Hacker. It's an 8-week course that incorporates an education portion and also a structured approach to implementing an exercise like that into your daily life. So you kind of have like homework every week to help you understand how you can build better habits and build more goal-aligned habits. Guys, Grid said that I looked funny because my pants were all the way up to my boobs. Does it look bad?
When you're sitting, it looks weird.
I told him that this is the style. Anyway, we're gonna go get our VO2 max, and I'm about to kick his ass just because he was roasting me on my pants. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's more talking head kind of nutrition focused. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Check out my course. But anyway, we're gonna go. We gotta go. Time to go.
You gotta go change.
I gotta go change, obviously.